In a world where fairy tales rarely survive the flashing lights of the spotlight, K-drama royalty Lee Min-ho and Song Hye-kyo are now fighting to hold on to what could be the most high-profile romance of the decade. Amid career chaos, conflicting schedules, and unrelenting public attention, insiders reveal that the power couple is battling to keep their love story from crumbling. From tearful airport goodbyes to midnight arguments under pouring rain, their relationship reads like a scene from the very dramas they once starred in, except this time, it's heartbreakingly real. Their unexpected relationship sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Lee Min-ho, the charming heartthrob known globally for Boys Over Flowers and The King, Eternal Monarch, and Song Hye-kyo, the timeless beauty who stole hearts in Descendants of the Sun, seemed like the ultimate dream team. Fans called them Korea's king and queen, a match made in heaven, perfect on screen, perfect off-screen. But behind the red carpet smiles and social media perfect moments, a different story was quietly unfolding. It was never easy from the beginning, a source close to the couple shared. Their chemistry was electric, but so were their schedules. And that's when the cracks started to show. In the past year alone, Lee Min-ho signed on to 2 international projects, including a major film set in Europe and an OTT thriller set in Tokyo. Meanwhile, Song Hye-kyo took on a bold new image in an emotionally draining period drama that required months of method acting and remote shooting in the countryside. Sometimes they wouldn't see each other for over a month, the source revealed. They tried to FaceTime every night, but the time zones and exhaustion made even that feel impossible. A particularly telling moment came during the 2025 Baeksang Arts Awards. Lee Min-ho, attending solo, accepted an award with an emotional speech thanking someone who couldn't be here tonight but is always in my heart. Cameras quickly cut to Song Hye-kyo's empty seat. Fans speculated everything from secret breakups to hidden engagements. What they didn't see was the tense moment that followed backstage where, according to a stage assistant, Min-ho sat silently in his dressing room, staring at his phone for over 10 minutes, before placing it down and walking out without a word. Despite their hectic lives, the couple reportedly purchased a luxury penthouse in Hanam-dong earlier this year. With a panoramic view of the Han River, the residence was supposed to be their sanctuary. But instead of love notes and late-night wine, the home turned cold and silent. She decorated it herself, floral arrangements, soft pastels, scented candles, the insider said. But it ended up being a place where they fought the most. It's where all the bottled-up tension exploded. In one instance, neighbors claimed they overheard an argument that ended with the sound of glass shattering and a door slamming. She walked out that night with tears streaming down her face, the building concierge later confirmed. He chased after her, barefoot, begging her to come back. One of the most heartbreaking scenes came just weeks ago at a private industry gala. The couple was supposed to attend together, but Song Hye-kyo arrived alone, dazzling in a deep emerald gown. Paparazzi noted her forced smile and the absence of her signature spark. Midway through the evening, Lee Min-ho arrived, late, disheveled, eyes heavy with stress. Witnesses say the two locked eyes across the ballroom, and for a moment, the air went still. She raised her glass in a subtle toast, but he merely looked down, turned, and walked away. Later that night, he was seen standing alone on the rooftop terrace, chain-smoking and staring out into the Seoul skyline. Whatever happened between them, it was tearing them apart, a fellow guest whispered. You could feel it in the room. Like a storm that hadn't broken yet. In a last-ditch effort to save their relationship, the couple flew to Jeju Island for a private weekend retreat. No stylists. No assistants. Just them, the sea, and their memories. Photos surfaced of the two walking along the cliffs, silent, distant, yet still side by side. In one image, Lee Min-ho is seen placing his jacket over Song Hye-kyo's shoulders as the ocean wind blew her hair. Another shows her reaching for his hand, their fingers barely touching. They wanted to find each other again, said a source who worked at the villa. But it was like watching two people trying to catch something that had already flown away. Their last night on Jeju was reportedly marked by a candlelit dinner under the stars. Staff prepared her favorite dishes, seafood pasta, grilled halibut, and a bottle of rare Bordeaux. But the mood was anything but romantic. She cried, the chef said. He just sat there, not eating, looking at her like he'd already lost her. Witnesses say the two spoke in hushed voices for over 2 hours. There were long silences. Nods. A brief moment where she rested her head on his shoulder, and he kissed her forehead. They left holding hands, but it didn't feel like victory. It felt like goodbye. As of this week, both actors are back to their packed schedules, Minute Ho in Berlin shooting his action film, and Hae Kyo promoting her new drama in Busan. No official statements have been released. Neither party has posted about each other in months. However, cryptic social media activity has fans buzzing. Lee Minute Ho recently posted a photo of a broken hourglass with the caption, "Time heals, but some wounds leave a mark." Song Hae Kyo, days later, shared a photo of the Jeju coast with no caption, just a single heart-shaped rock resting near the waves. Is it truly the end for Korea's most beloved couple? Or is this simply the pause before a powerful comeback? Sources close to the stars insist that the love is still there, buried under the weight of fame, pressure, and 2 unstoppable careers. They haven't given up, the insider concluded. But they're tired. Tired of fighting the world and each other. They just want peace. Whether that's together or apart, only time will tell. For now, the world watches, waits, and hopes that somewhere beneath the chaos, the love story of Lee Minute Ho and Song Hae Kyo still flickers with life. The cameras may have stopped clicking, the flashbulbs may have dimmed, but the storm inside the hearts of Lee Minute Ho and Song Hae Kyo is far from over. As the drama of their troubled relationship unfolds behind closed doors, those closest to the couple now reveal more heartbreaking, intimate moments that paint a picture of love clashing violently with fame. If the beginning was a fairy tale, the middle is a battlefield. After moving into their penthouse in Hanam-dong, a quiet, luxurious escape nestled above the glittering skyline of Seoul, things were supposed to get easier. They had made promises over champagne and whispered plans about lazy Sundays, coffee in bed, and spontaneous movie nights. But reality came knocking harder than expected. On one such evening, Minute Ho arrived home after a 19-hour flight from Madrid, where he had just wrapped up an exhausting film shoot. Hae Kyo, on her end, had spent her entire day in emotionally draining rehearsals for her period drama. Both entered the apartment like strangers passing in the hallway. No hugs. No smiles. Just 2 shadows occupying the same space. She left a note on the kitchen counter, revealed a staff member familiar with their routine. It simply said, "The jasmine tea is in the cupboard. Good night." That was the only communication for 3 days. Even their beloved dog, Como, once a uniting force during early dating days, began to sense the distance. The dog would sleep in the hallway, between both rooms, the same source said. It was as if even he didn't know where the warmth had gone. A particularly poignant scene happened one rainy afternoon in May. Song Hae Kyo had just returned from a press event, visibly drained from hours of smiling for cameras. As she stepped out of the car, she saw Minute Ho waiting under the apartment's portico, dressed in a white shirt, holding a single white lily, the flower she once said reminded her of peace. They hadn't spoken in almost 2 weeks. He held out the flower silently. Her eyes welled up with tears, not from joy, but exhaustion. She walked past him without a word. And then, she stopped. Turning around, still soaked from the rain, she whispered, "I'm tired, Minute Ho. I don't want flowers. I want us." Witnesses say he just stood there, soaked and stunned, watching her disappear into the elevator. She was right, one friend admitted. They kept giving each other symbols when what they needed was time, presence, attention. Desperate to revive their connection, Lee Minute Ho arranged a secret weekend in Gaping, far away from the prying eyes of Seoul. He booked a secluded villa by the lake, where the two had once gone early in their courtship. He decorated the place with fairy lights, their favorite red wine chilling by the fire, and a playlist of their favorite soft jazz tracks playing softly in the background. It was everything they once were. But when she arrived, the energy was off. She seemed tense, said an insider who worked at the retreat. Like she had something on her mind. He kept trying to break the ice, jokes, small touches, inside references. But she barely responded. That night, over grilled steak and wine, they finally talked, but it wasn't the conversation either hoped for. She told him she felt invisible in his life, the source continued. That it hurt to see him smiling on red carpets but not smiling at her. He said he didn't know how to be everything for her and still chase the career he'd worked his whole life for. The argument went on past midnight, voices rising, then falling into tears. At one point, she left the villa and stood barefoot by the lake, looking out into the night. He followed her minutes later, wrapping his jacket around her. They stood there for nearly an hour in silence, the source said. Not saying a word. Just breathing beside each other. It was the most honest they'd been in weeks. What fans may not know is that their personal issues bled into their professional lives. During a recent shoot for a CF campaign they had previously agreed to do together, Haikyo arrived hours late, and Minute Ho, visibly tense, reportedly refused to take joint photos outside of the scheduled concept shots. It was painful to watch, a makeup artist from the shoot shared. Two people pretending to be perfect while their eyes screamed distance. Between takes, they sat on opposite ends of the room. One heartbreaking moment happened when the photographer asked for a candid laughter pose. Minute Ho leaned in, whispering something into her ear that once would have made her giggle. But she only smiled faintly and looked away. They couldn't fake it anymore, the photographer admitted. Whatever was broken, it showed. Those closest to the couple have tried stepping in. Actor Kim Bum, a longtime friend of Minute Ho, reportedly confronted him during a dinner at Itaewon, asking, "Are you happy, or are you just surviving with her?" On the other side, actress Song Yoon-ah, a mentor to Haikyo, told her, "You're shrinking in a relationship that should help you grow. Love isn't supposed to feel like a burden." These words, though well-intentioned, only deepened their confusion. "It wasn't a matter of love or no love," said a friend. They loved each other deeply. But sometimes love gets suffocated by timing, by ambition, by the need to be everything all at once. Just days ago, a turning point may have quietly emerged. On her way to a photo shoot, Haikyo received a handwritten letter tucked into her handbag. It was from Minute Ho. In it, he wrote, "If I ever made you feel like you were second to anything, I failed as a man and as your partner. I can't promise fewer flights or easier days. But I can promise I'll never stop trying if you still want to." She hasn't responded publicly. But insiders say she's kept the letter in her purse ever since. "It's not a fairy tale anymore," a close friend admitted. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe this is real love, the messy kind, the kind worth fighting for. As Lee Minute Ho films in Berlin and Song Haikyo continues her promotional tour, the fate of their relationship remains uncertain. Yet, those glimpses of vulnerability, the letter, the shared silence by the lake, the tearful confessions suggest that something deeper still binds them. They are no longer the perfectly posed couple of magazine covers. They are two stars trying to navigate love in a universe that never sleeps. Whether they emerge stronger or silently part ways, one thing is clear: theirs is a love story that refuses to be forgotten.